The magic button. Woo. All right, everybody. It's Benson Medina, the district trainer, and we're here tonight to do our once a month get together of club trainers. And so I wanted to welcome people that are going to be helping us tonight. Uh, my cohort here, Naomi Matsuno, will be talking a little bit later this meeting. Um, our district governor, Sandy Matsui, and then our district governor nominee, Mark Merriam, is going to chat with us a little bit about Rotary Days of Service. So, Sandy, I'm going to toss it to you if you have any opening remarks, and then we'll start the rock and roll here.
I just came back from I think my third DG visit in one day, and
Wow.
as I was going through the sessions, it just really made me realize what an important role you as district governors have in the whole process and in for our district to be successful, right? Because of the information and the knowledge that you gain, as well as being able to share that with the clubs. And I just want to say thank you. And on behalf of the presidents, I think I also want to say thank you because it's a huge support. So thanks for your time and effort. We appreciate you a lot. Aloha. Have fun.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Sandy. We appreciate your being here. That's one of the great things about being part of the leadership of District 5000 is that a lot of these faces, I see them almost every training that we do. And, they don't have to be here, but they're here because they want to be supportive. So, the more support you get, the more people are engaged in the kinds of things we do, the more effective it becomes overall. So, um, I'm actually going to jump ahead of my schedule tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Mark and to Kelly to talk a little bit about Rotary Days of Service. Now, I know that you probably heard a little bit about it, and the reason why I'm having them here to speak tonight is because I want to make sure that every group that we're working with, as far as training goes, the club trainers, the presidents, the president elects, the board people, the community service people, that everybody's getting consistent information across the board. Because one of the things that we're challenged with, and every single district everywhere in the world is challenged with, is getting the information that comes from the leadership and filtering it down so that every single person in every club is aware of the things that we're doing. Because unless they are aware, there's not an opportunity for them to participate. So some of you might have heard their discussion. They did a super great job about a week and a half ago on the 31st to lay this whole thing out. It was super dynamic presentation. Kelly was like reporter on the scene out there. It was pretty cool. And Mark did a really great job running it from the studio. So I'm going to turn it over to Mark and Kelly and take whatever time you guys need, guys, to talk a little bit about Rotary Days of Service.
Great. Thank you, Benson. Thank you for a few minutes. This year, DG Sandy asked Kelly McDonald and myself to serve as chairs of our Days of Service projects. And what it really is, we're trying to give focus to the many community service projects that all of our 50 plus clubs are doing across the state. And we're trying to coordinate our efforts so that it would be membership, public image, and community service committees within your clubs all working together. And that's where the district trainers really come in, because you folks can help us coordinate among the many committees within your own club. So any coordinated effort is going to increase our impact. And that's what we're trying to do this year with Days of Service, is to maximize the impact and the community information that'll go out as part of our many different community service projects. So we're going to have 4 days of service in August, September. It's a community, it's a educational focus that individual clubs already do so many projects. In November, it's Rotary Gives Thanks. It'll be multi-club projects. In February, it's maternal and child health, which would be individual club projects around Valentine's Day. And finally, Rotarians at Work in April. which will have an environmental theme. We're using the focus areas of Rotary International to give a sense of direction for these projects. So we're asking clubs to work together to find partners in the community. I think that's going to be really important as we move forward to work in partnership with other community agencies and community groups, and that will increase our impact of our projects. We're asking clubs also to, we have a simple form, it's now posted on the district website, a report form that can be filled out in 4 or 5 minutes. The day of the event, we like clubs to do that, talking about the number of Rotarians, number of family and friends, hours worked, and money spent. And then we'll be able to aggregate that all together and quickly come out with an impact district-wide, statewide among the 50 different Rotary communities across the state as to what we did on those community service projects. There's a PowerPoint presentation we won't go through tonight, but it's also posted on the district website under the Days of Service button that's now on the home page of the district website. So I really just wanted to give you a quick overview. I know you have a full agenda where district trainers or club trainers can help. Really is bringing together the committees within your own club, the membership committee, the community service committee, and the public image committee to work on these projects during the course of the year. And Kelly might have another comment or two. He's being awful quiet this evening, which is very unusual.
Well, I was just going to ask if I could do a quick screen share, Benson. So I just wanted to give a quick. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to. There we go. Can folks see the district newsletter? So folks would have got the district newsletter on Sunday. So big shout out to Brenna, our communication chair this year. So I just wanted to highlight, this is the infographic, kind of our branded logo for Days of Service that folks are going to see as part. So the 4 quadrants represent the 4 themes: education, economic development, family and maternal health, and the environment. So they're all laid out there. And then you see, a little kickoff story about the Rotary Days of Service. I think, the exciting little opportunity we had this past weekend, working with, Legislative District 16, was a perfect kind of crucible for doing Days of Service. So I want to give Alan Kamoto from Hickam Pearl Harbor a big thanks, for bringing folks out, coming out himself and bringing some folks to work. We had Air Force volunteers, we had some local missionaries, and we had, some friends come also from a member of Pearl Ridge Rotary. So we had 3 Rotary clubs, a church group, government, elected official in her office and staff, and we had, some local military folks, working. But the other 6 sites that were in operation involved everything from professional service organizations to PTSOs to alumni groups to state Democrats to a union group. So we had, it became kind of a great focal point to bring a variety of people together who really wanted to make and beautify the schools, so that this last week the kids, there was some zip when they came on campus, and it looked like it just got a spruce up, and was there to welcome them. So, we got some local press, other clubs got some press and some early activities. The kind of goal is just, to continue driving on shining the light on Rotary. And while we talk about service above self, there is no shame, I think, in acknowledging that we are doing good work in the community, and our service is an invitation to bring other people to join us to do that work. So in the newsletter, the easy form that Mark mentioned is linked right here. It says follow this easy form to use, because one of the challenges for district leadership is we don't have an easy way to roll up data. Whoops, Sorry, my browser's incompatible. FYI, don't use Internet Explorer. Go to Google Chrome. This is a Google Doc, or go to Edge. But if you click on that link in an appropriate compatible browser, you're going to get about a 7-question survey, maybe a minute and a half to do. All they're really asking is to help give a roll up to identify based on those quarterly projects, so we can get a quick impact statement. The best way I think the district can help promote us as clubs, the best way we can define who it is we are and what it is that we do, is by our deeds. You know, we can talk about, you know, we can have axioms like, service above self, and people of action, but that doesn't mean anything unless people see us doing it. And if we're doing it together, we get an opportunity for clubs to cross-pollinate, to meet members, to build trust, to build cohesion, to build esprit de corps. And then when we build across the community, we're building bridges and have an opportunity, to be excited and engaged with other partners, other stakeholders in the community project that we are invested in. So, this is the sort of thing that to me is exciting. It's not asking more, it's just asking us to package and frame things in a way that can give us the lens, give us the focus to be strategic in the work we do. We've always done this work, but let's give it the strategic focus to make it the most meaningful. So I think that's the big takeaway I would ask for trainers to take to your club is, we're not asking more, we're just helping you shine a light on the good works you're doing to make everybody look better and to make Rotary a destination service and leadership organization for Hawaii.
Cool. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. Thank you for the time at your meeting tonight. Benson, back to you.
All right, that was awesome. Okay, well, one of the things that we want to try to emphasize, and the reason that I wanted Kelly and Mark to come on today is because this is a year-long project. Okay, Rotary Days of Service is not something that we're going to kick off and then we're just going to forget about it for the next 10 months. This is something that we're going to continue to talk about in this meeting, in the president's trainings, in the president-elect trainings, the board people, everyone, because this is a year-long program, and we have to continually get people engaged in wanting to participate in it. It's something, like I said, that every club can do. Part of what our function is as club trainers is to help the president get the word out all the way down to every single person in our club. So I thank you guys for participating and for giving us that information. So now I want to kind of circle back to the beginning and go back to the reason kind of why we're here. So when I first time I was president, actually, I think Kelly and I were presidents the same year, and then I did another year after that. We didn't really have a club trainer. So what we had in our club was a club administrator, and that guy was Doug Adams, and he's on the call today. Now, Doug was a past president. He had been the foundation chair. He sat on the board for a number of years, and he acted basically kind of as my guide, because the first year into it, I hadn't been a Rotarian for that many years, didn't have that much of experience with it. At the board meetings, he would really be helpful in trying to clarify some things that either I wasn't sure about or wasn't aware of. So in essence, he was basically our club trainer. He was kind of the go-to guy that helped to guide the club. Since I took over the position as district trainer, I constantly get this question, well, what is a club trainer? What are we actually supposed to do, right? What's basically our job? And let me give you an illustration that'll bring it right home to you. You're the co-pilot in the cockpit, okay? So in the cockpit, there's left seat and there's right seat. And left seat is typically the pilot. He's the person driving, or he or she's the person flying the plane. But the other person that sits in the right seat is a person that's there and pilot cannot function without this person that's sitting in the right seat, typically the co-pilot, first officer, or whatever. So that's basically our function as club trainers, is to help communication come down, to help to guide the president. We're the go-to people in the club. And typically, a club trainer is somebody who's been a president before, has been a Rotarian for a few years, doesn't have to be a million years, but has enough experience, to to be able to help the leadership, the present leadership that's in the club. And so, one of the ways in which we can do that is to encourage people in your clubs to get or to attend one of our training sessions. Now, like I said, when I started last year, and I was really fortunate to work with Naomi, who's probably the most knowledgeable person in Rotary in our entire district by far. And our design was to try to create training programs that would try to touch as many people out there as possible. Because my feeling had always been is that an informed Rotarian is an engaged Rotarian. And when you look at the top levels of leadership everywhere in Rotary, it's the people that have these high Rotary IQs, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're smart. It just means that they have a lot of information about Rotary. And the more that we can put that information out there, the more that we can create opportunities for people to learn about Rotary, the better it's going to be in terms of getting people to become engaged in Rotary. So this past weekend, we had our first Welcome to Rotary session. And it was a session that was designed basically to introduce people to Rotary, new Rotarians. And, if the clubs don't have an organized new member orientation, this was supposed to help get that process going. It was also designed for prospective people who wanted to take a closer look at Rotary and find out what Rotary is all about. And we had, I think, over 20 people joined that conversation, which is really great, because just really at a basic level, the more people can know about Rotary, like I said, the more engaged they are, the more the club gets to move, the more they move individually as people within Rotary. And so this year, let me share a screen here. So this year, we're putting a lot of trainings on that, like I said, are designed for all kinds of people. So just in July, we started there's membership training, club trainers. This is our second meeting, district leadership group. We have actually a DLA, and that's actually their first meeting is going to be this month. President's training, youth protection, Rotary Days of Service, welcome to Rotary. So what I'm asking all of you as club trainers, and everybody should have a copy of this schedule. We're putting events up on the district website. The calendar is also posted there. Is if you have a chance to encourage people in your clubs to attend a training of any kind, and it could be this is who we are. Welcome to Rotary. It could be this one, September 4th, which is a course in leadership with which Naomi and I are going to start this year. It's 4 sessions throughout the Rotary year, and it's a basic leadership 101. Talks about servant leadership and Rotary values, all of that. Foundations coming up, social media is coming up. So I just wanted to encourage everybody that has influence in your clubs to encourage people to attend a training of some kind. Because I'll tell you this: if we got everybody in our district to come to one training a year, no matter what it is, something simple, that would have a huge impact just in the engagement level of our members within our district and within our leadership. So any questions about that before I go on to the next thing? Okay, good. Yes, Alan, go ahead. or comments. Comments are good too.
I have a question. You know,
Yeah.
I have the list that you just talked about, but how do I tell the club, say it's a meeting for youth service or new generation. How do I don't have the web, I mean, the link to that.
The-
How do I
the-
find the link?
Yeah, the Zoom link. It's typically posted on the website. I don't know, Naomi, if you want to comment on that. So if you go to the website for all of these trainings, the link is, or the Zoom link is posted on the website, and they could go right to that.
Okay, so I tell so my job is to remind them, hey, there's a meeting, can you please attend and go to the link? Is that what I do?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Because I have the schedule here, so I'm
Yeah.
ready to call people, but you know, you gotta make sure that they know
Yeah.
how to do it. I
And if
gotta
they
make
go-
sure I know how to do it. As a club trainer, I
Yeah.
gotta know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, if you can get them to the website, that's you know, the district website. Most of it's posted on there. Gail, go ahead.
If someone wants to go to a session, but it's happening when they cannot go, are all the sessions recorded? And if the sessions are recorded, how in the world do you find them? Because I've tried to find things, because I won't go to sessions on Saturday, we're in synagogue. And I've tried to locate things that were done on Saturday, and I can never figure out how to get to them to view them after they've been done.
I'm going to turn this over to Naomi, who's our recorder and poster of sessions over here. Go ahead, Naomi.
Okay. Here's the home page of our district. Okay, so the district website, Alan, to your point, the sessions are listed here. When you click on the link, then the title of the session, the link should be in there. Okay, so this one isn't in there yet, but if you had today's one, this is the link. You just click on it and you get to the Zoom meeting. Okay. Okay, so now for Gail's question right here, webinar recordings. Okay, so you go to the webinar recordings, you click on the YouTube link and you will get to the recording. This is chronological order of all of the webinars that we've had. Okay.
Thank you, that'll give me
Yeah.
something to occupy my
Yeah.
time while I'm home recuperating.
Right,
Yeah.
great. Now you can do a binge on this. And if you want to go by subject, go to the training library. Okay. And then the topic, recording by topic will be listed here, right here. And then when you go to the page in the library, it'll take you to the page with all of the information on that subject. So for instance, Club Trainer, when you go to Club Trainer, it'll get you to the Club Trainer page, and it has Benson's picture, so you cannot forget how he looks, but it has the calendar, the Club Trainer planning calendars in here, and some of the other materials. Okay.
Okay, now
Thank you, that's helpful.
Okay, Gail, thanks for your question. So Naomi has worked really hard in really building our website into a tremendous resource page for everybody in our district to use. And so that's why I encourage people, you know, like these trainings are on, you know, we might have one on community service. Now, you don't have to be a community service chair to attend that. You just have to have interest in, you know, wanting to, you know, look at something or learn something about community service in our district. You might have interest in youth protection and want to sit through Peter Evans, which has a fascinating presentation about it. You know, community, you know, like I said, we're gonna be doing, and Naomi will talk about it towards the end of the meeting. We're gonna do a whole series of foundation trainings starting at the end of August. And so you don't have to be a foundation chair to attend those, and anyone can attend them. So yeah, feel free. And you know, if you have people in your club that are just, they're new people, they're interested, they want to learn more about Rotary. We have something almost every week. This year, We're going to do almost 80 different trainings. That's just what the trainers are going to do. I mean, there's all kinds of other meetings that people can participate and attend. So thanks a lot, Naomi. Like I said, use the district website. So much of the stuff that we need as resource people is listed on that. So I want to talk about another year-long program in addition to Rotary Days of Service, and that's our membership drive. And at the beginning of the year, Sandy showed us a video of Shekhar Mehta, who's our RI president, and his plan for increasing Rotary membership this year is each one bring one. And the design of that is that every Rotarian should bring somebody or invite somebody either to their club, to a meeting, to a Zoom meeting, to a service project. Now, that one, like Kelly was saying, you know, we say a lot of stuff like we're people of action and, you know, we're service above self and all that. But none of that means anything unless we actually do something. So as far as club trainers goes, this is what I'm going to do in my club tomorrow since I'm the club trainer. And the president is always gives me a couple of minutes at every meeting. But tomorrow I'm going to talk about each one bring one. And I'm going to ask everybody in our club to think about who that person is, right? Because everybody has at least one person that can come to mind right away. So who in your little sphere of influence, your contacts, the people that you know, they might be a good Rotarian, or they might enjoy the kinds of things that we do. They might be like-minded like we are. So I'm going to ask every member of our club to write down the name of this person that they have in mind. They don't have to tell us, but just write it down, because once you write it down, then you're taking some action into making that thing happen. And then the second thing I'm going to ask them to do is to write down when they're planning to bring that person, invite that person to either a meeting, a Zoom meeting, a social event, service project. When are they going to do that? Because what I've learned about things that take some action, that unless you put a driver, like who's going to drive that, which would be yourself, and you put a date on it, a lot of times it just doesn't happen. So the two programs that we want to think about all year long is Rotary Days of Service. That's going to continue all year long, and each one bring one is a year-long thing. So if people in your club don't have somebody come to mind like right off the bat, all right, we'll check back with you in a month or two or whenever that is. But ask them, okay, who's that person? Can you write it down, put it in the notes in your phone, and then think about when you want to bring that person to Rotary. Because if we just throw it out as an idea, only a few people are actually going to do it. But if you challenge everybody to come up with a name of a person, and that's the key, I believe, is once you put a name on there, now it's like, okay, I gotta call this person. So any comments on that? Anybody have any questions about that? Anybody think that that's too aggressive or intrusive? No, because tomorrow I'm going to ask everybody to do that. So, and because I really feel like unless we're going to take that type of action to actually request that everybody come up with a name and when this person's actually going to be there, may or may not happen.
And Benson, can
Yes.
I ask a question? So
Yes.
is your club looking for a member in a particular classification, or what type of members are you looking for?
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on you and your club. I mean, the whole idea behind each one bring one is that everyone in Rotary, everyone in every club would think about somebody, their friends, neighbors, relatives, I mean, whoever that might be, and invite those people to a Rotary meeting, a Zoom meeting, social event, service project. So I don't think it's limited to any type of classification or any type of person. I think it's a personal decision for each person in terms of who they would like to invite to the meeting. So any of you other guys, Mark, Sandy, Naomi, want to comment on the type of person or how you guys see this thing rolling out?
Well, Sharon brings up a good point. You know, we did have the classification system before. And last year with Holger says, bring in people who fit your club. Okay, so never mind the numbers, look for people who fit. But when we talk about DEI and the demographics of your community, and Holger asked, does your club reflect the demographics of your community? Then that's where you might think, okay, in my community, we've got a lot of doctors, and maybe we don't have a doctor in the club. That's where the classification could come in. But also think about the ethnicities, the not only the vocation, but socioeconomic stature, stakeholders in the community. And so what would round out your club so that you have more hands to make that impact that Benson was talking about? So when we look at classification, that is important too, but also the other DEI sections of your community. So thanks, Sharon.
Yeah, good question, Sharon. Thank you. Okay, so the other thing that is happening this week, and part of what I want to try to do is just keep you guys up to speed on everything that's going on, is that our president-elect training starts this week. All right, so that meeting is going to be Wednesday night, and our district governor-elect, Randy Hart's going to be running that. And I think we're up to 43 clubs now that have a president-elect. So if you're a club that doesn't have a president-elect, he's going to talk a little bit about why you need to get a president-elect in that group. Now, the reason I bring president-elects up is that that the whole training of the president-elect sort of culminates at PETS. And this year, we're in Southwest PETS, which takes place in Los Angeles at the end of February. So prior to that, in the months leading up to that, we're going to do some training, and most of the coursework is going to be done online. And I just wanted to go over what that training is going to look like, because for some of your president-elects, especially if they haven't been Rotarian for very long, they may have some questions about it. They may need clarifications about things. And I would like you guys as club trainers to be their person within the club that they can go to and ask questions. Most of you guys have been club presidents, been around for a while. And most of the stuff they're going to be going over is pretty basic stuff. So let me just show it to you real quick so you have an idea of what it's going to look like. So basically, they're going to start going through the Rotary Learning Center starting in September. And so each month, we're going to have a certain amount of things that we're going to go over so that they can be ready for pre-PETS, actually, which is going to happen in February, and then regular PETS, which happens at the end of February. So the big three things of Rotary, right? Membership, and we're going to start in with membership. All of these assignments are all going to be within the Learning Center, and you guys should all be familiar with that, the Learning Center in my Rotary. So we start off in membership September 1st to the 11th. And then we're going to go into a little bit about knowing your club, September 12th to the 25th. Then in October, we're going to shift over to public image, brand and public image. So we'll spend the month talking about that. And then in November, which is Foundation Month, we're going to talk about foundation. All right, now this is just basic information about membership, foundation, and public image. Now, for those of you guys who have been around Rotary a while, you know that that's kind of the three basic pillars of Rotary. Now, you may notice that in here, there's nothing really in here about leadership, how to run a club meeting, how to manage your board. So all of that stuff, we're going to be working with the president-elects probably after PETS is over in that transitional period, which is April, May, and June. So I'm going to send this out to all the club trainers just so they have it. Now your club, your president-elect, they might be pretty sharp person, don't need any help. Gonna kind of whiz right through this, but I wanted you guys to be aware of it, so that in case they do need help, it would be great if you could check in with them and say, hey, you know, how's the coursework going? Got any questions? Anything that I can answer? And if you don't, if they ask you something you can't answer, you can always direct them to myself or Naomi or Sandy or Mark. You know, there's guys who have been around, or your assistant governor like Doug. We'll be happy to answer that. Okay, any questions about that? Now, the first meeting of these president-elects is happening on Wednesday. And then after that, we're going to be meeting once a month, just like this group, just like the club trainers. And what we'll be doing in that meeting once a month is to go over the material that they should have covered during that month, and you know, make sure they understand that. Do a question and answer period with them at that time. So any kind of questions about that? No? Man,
I have-
you guys,
I'm sorry, I have one.
yeah, no, Alan, please go ahead and ask a question.
You know, I'm as club trainer, you get all this information, which is great. But it would be nice someplace on there, a note to say to all presidents, and then we as club trainer get a CC, because every time I get a message, I gotta call the president or email the president. Hey, did you get this? Hey, did you get? And you know, if they got it already, they don't want to see it another time from me. Right.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some way that I know as a club trainer where it went to, who's the primary recipient, and then I
Yeah.
can. I'm the co-pilot, right? I'm going to tell the pilot, hey,
Right.
by the way, did you
Yeah.
get this message from
Yeah.
whatever?
And you're right, Alan, that's a great point. And I would say 99.99% of the time, the president's going to get the email too. So like, let's say Rotary Days of Service.
Yeah.
You know, our president is our key contact. So
Right.
there's so much information just being pumped into
Right.
the president. And so that's why now we're really trying to elevate this club trainer position. So there's
Yeah.
somebody else in the club
Okay.
that's getting this information as well, and that has the ability to filter it down to people. So,
Okay.
so what I would do, I mean, me, when I get these club trainer emails, I just sort of look at it like I'm another voice in the club
Yeah.
that can get this information down, because, you know, a lot of times club president, for whatever reason, maybe they don't have time, or maybe they don't understand the program well. It just doesn't get down there. It doesn't get down there in their announcements. They don't have time to fully explain it. So I know in my club, I'm going to start taking a more active role and actually taking a little piece of the meeting, and you know, making sure to just to repeat some of the stuff that the president either is saying, has already said, or maybe they didn't get a chance to say it. So
I got it. I got it. Okay, because you're right. Usually they get so inundated and they don't follow up, and then, you know, I don't know if she got it. Okay.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good. I understand. Thank you.
yeah. So you're another voice in the club, and so you know, the other thing that I wanted to recommend is that is that we as club trainers encourage people to read the Rotary magazine. Now, I know that a lot of people just get it and it just gets tossed. Some people don't even crack it open. So, you know, if you're thinking about like building Rotary IQ within your club, just tell them, hey, you know, when the thing comes, look at the picture at least on the front. You know, so now if somebody looked at the picture of this, they would know that Shaker and his wife Rashi they're the president and his wife of Rotary International. Because there's really, and you know, I really didn't start reading this thing until I was president of the club, and then I actually started reading it, and there's some really actually useful stuff in there. So I would encourage everybody to read that. And you know, you might just pop something out of there as a club trainer and said, hey, I was reading the Rotary magazine, and since I'm the only guy in the club reading it, let me share a couple of things with you guys, and then you can kind of pop that out there. Okay, so I want to.
Hey, Benson,
Yeah.
sorry, I just wanted to put in a quick plug. If
Yes, Kelly.
folks, you know, for the Rotarian magazine, folks don't have to get it in paper. There is the ability to get that magazine delivered electronically if, you know, paper waste, you know, kind of thinking about the environmental component of your Rotary footprint is of primary import. You know, you can get that delivered electronically to you. So you can, you know, take it with you, read on your Kindle, read on your device. You don't have to carry the magazine. And so for folks who don't want the paper and who want the portability electronically, that's another possibility. And, you know, honestly, you know, I played golf over the weekend twice, and I got sunburned on Friday because I was wearing a baseball cap. But I wore my Rotarian boonie hat that I bought through an ad with, you know, the Better World Hats, you know, advertisement,
Yeah.
you know, through Rotary Magazine, you know, through Tilly, the hat company in Canada, advertised in Rotarian Magazine. I got a broad brim hat that I wear at service projects to keep the sun off the back of my neck and on my forehead. And then I finally had the good sense to wear it golfing. If it keeps the sun off my hat while I'm pulling weeds and weed whacking, it does the same thing when I'm golfing. And I got to have a great conversation with a couple of guys this weekend up in Mililani to say on Saturday. They said, "What's that?" And I said, "Rotary." Well, that's where I do my service and where I've expanded my professional network. So you never know what comes out of Rotary Magazine. And if folks, you know, want to reduce their paper and carbon footprint, a great way to select is, you know, in your Rotary membership every year, change your profile to get the magazine electronically and not in paper.
That is a really good point. Okay, so I'm going to remember that because I didn't know that. See, so it's a good thing I came to tonight's meeting because I learned that from Kelly. In fact, actually, Kelly, right now I'm fingering through it looking for the hat because I would like to get a hat. I noticed that you were wearing that the other day on your, you know, live from Mililani. This is Kelly McDonald. So I'm gonna look for that. So at this point, what I want to do is we're gonna have foundation training that's gonna start at the end of the month on the 30th. And so I want to turn it over to Naomi. That's gonna kind of give us a little bit of primer of what to expect and some of the things that need to be going on in the club right now relative to foundation training. So go ahead, Naomi.
Okay. Every year we have fall training, and fall training could be September, October, or November. This is where we have to do our foundation training. So along with that, we have World Polio Day on October 25th every year. And so we kind of do our focus on polio giving in October. And then November is Foundation Month. So the timing of these training is kind of based on those dates that we need to take a look at. So for the training, there is on August 30, a foundation training, that's a Monday, and that is for club trainers, foundation chairs, and presidents. And so this is when we're going to lay out what the plan is for October, November, what the training is, what we'd like the foundation chairs to do in those months, and some ideas, some best practices on how to fundraise for Polio Plus and the foundation. So on that calendar, it's the foundation planning for, and this is where the president nominee, the PE, I'm sorry, not the nominee, the PE should be in there, because when we get to grant training, then the grant management, how to do the forms, how to handle the grant applications and the grants, This is for the PE to do the training. Okay, so the August 30 is foundation planning. Then we have foundation basic on September 11th. That's a Saturday. That is for all Rotarians to learn about Rotary, the Rotary Foundation. So that's 101 basics. Okay. Then we have also that same day after at 10 o'clock, grant qualifications. Grant qualifications, okay, if you remember the qualifications, you need 2 people to attend this training, right? And one of those people need to be your PE. Okay, so please make sure you have 2, because to qualify for grants next year, you need those 2 people to attend. You need to do the 3 documents that the PE and the PN sign, and we need the tax filing. So the tax return should be done June 30, right, every year. So we just had June 30. So remind your treasurer that they should be filing that tax filing. Usually it's the 990N, the postcard they just send in, but make sure they do it now so they don't forget. But the deadline for that tax filing is November 30. To qualify for next year's grants, we need a copy of that confirmation that it was filed. Okay, so you guys can put all of that together. So 2 people to go to the training, the 3 documents signed, and then the tax filing confirmation. And then to fully qualify, the final grant report needs to be submitted by May 31st in 2022. Okay, so you guys now know how to qualify, and you can make sure that all of those documents get put in. Okay, so we have the grant qualification on September 30, September 11th. Okay, and then in September 25th, we have Foundation 201. And so that's a little higher level of the Rotary Foundation. And then in October, when we have World Polio Day, we'll have a training on World Polio Plus, I think on October 9th. Roz, is that right, Roz? Okay, and then we have World Polio Day, which is October 24th. It's a Sunday. So Roz, are we having something on 24th?
We know. Okay.
Okay, so we'll let you guys know, but that's the lineup for foundation.
Yes, we will be having something on those days, and we will be getting back to you with our plans and if any information you would like to share as well.
Back to you, Benson.
Okay, hope everybody got that. This is where you know, a lot of times in the clubs there's confusion about what actually needs to get done. But here's the key piece, and we're gonna roll this down to the presidents, the club trainers, actually anybody in the clubs, is that this training really requires 2 people from every club, and one of them has to be the PE. So we'll continue to send that information out, make sure everybody gets that and understands that. Is there any questions for Naomi about this process, about upcoming training? I know some of you guys that are on the call are going to be participating in some of that training. Mark Harbison, if you got anything you guys want to comment or add to that, you're welcome to go ahead and do that. Okay, so we got the last few minutes, and what I wanted to do is just kind of put it out there for you guys to give any feedback about some of the stuff that you're seeing in your club, areas where you think you might need help, areas where you think we should develop some training that could help people. In our Welcome to Rotary workshop that we had this past Saturday, we had a great Rotarian, newcomer Maria, talk about her question was, so how are clubs actually set up? I mean, what's the, you know, is it a president, is it a board, is it whatever? because she really didn't know that. And so part of what we're going to add into that presentation is just maybe one slide on how clubs are typically set up. So a lot of the training that we're doing, a lot of the stuff that that I went over tonight, they have come as the result of the feedback from people that come to these sessions. So is there anything out there that you guys would like to add, to chat about, or to suggest that we incorporate into our training to make it more effective and ultimately have greater impact and engage more people? Any thoughts, anybody? Gail, you have an idea?
Yeah, I do. COVID is alive and well, and it's not going to go away. And the first thing that we dealt with the person who's going to do the youth service chair from Waikiki Rotary is, how do we do the dictionary project with COVID? Because principals are not going to allow Rotarians to come into the schools to give the dictionaries in person. It's just not going to happen. Third graders have not been vaccinated yet. And so what we kind of brainstormed with the woman who is going to be the literacy chair for our club is, we know from last year, we had the dictionaries delivered directly to the schools in care of the principal. And last year, I think we were still able to give the dictionaries in person because COVID hadn't hit yet. This year, that's not going to happen. And so I think clubs are going to have to figure out what they're going to do. My suggestion to our literacy chair was to write a letter to each principal saying, we're going to send the cases of dictionaries to the principal. When they get there, the principal needs to alert the third grade teacher chair so that the books can be given to all the third grade teachers and the teachers can give them to the children, because COVID's not going away. And that's a real problem for Dictionary Project.
Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
Gail, I
Absolutely.
can only
Go ahead, Kelly.
I can only speak with the limited experience. So we give dictionaries to LOI Elementary, which has 3 third grade classes. So we give about 100-ish dictionaries to the 3 classes. And what I did when I actually asked the third grade teachers and the principal, give me a roster of the kids. I don't need first name, last name, just give me first name. So I print color printed book plates and then print them on a particular label that I've designed with the Rotary wheel, our club logo, and the 4-way. I may change it this year to incorporate the 4-way test because I've seen some different template designs that included that. So we put the what ostensibly is a book plate in the beginning for each kid with their first name on it, and then with the roster, and then I just dropped them all off the 3 boxes, 1 for each teacher for the school, and then we did a virtual presentation. So the teachers were open to us doing a Zoom presentation to just, share the content of the dictionaries. And honestly, my club before this year was never that excited about dictionaries. I think we were like that close to not giving dictionaries anymore. And I got this email from the principal, and then Naomi got it asking, like, where's an address we can send some thank you? And I just thought, well, what are they just going to send us some perfunctory note from the principal? Thank you for the dictionaries.
No.
Whatever. But what it was a bounded compilation of some student letters with a little artfully designed student cover, about, thank you for the dictionaries, Rotary, and then these handwritten notes from the kids. And I can tell you there was nary a dry eye when we passed it around at our change of command ceremony recently for my club members to read the impact statements, these handwritten letters from the kids in these third grade classes who said, this is my first book. I read all the words. I loved learning about the presidents. I loved X, Y, and Z. It was so ennobling. And for me, I enjoyed going to classrooms, and I've raised $1 billion, in bond and levy money for a local school district in Washington State before I came here. I'm all in for public schools, but I never saw that same kind of connection. These kids literally putting pen to paper to say what this meant to them as a first book, has a particular meaning about what they got out of it, and a particular source that they used for finding synonyms or flags or state capitals or presidents. And honestly, I think my club was a little cynical about the dictionary impact. And then we read that and we passed it around and shared it, and it just was like,
Our club gets that every single year.
Yeah.
Every
Wow.
single year. And
Yeah.
we do 10 schools. From every single school, we get what you just described. And it's phenomenal.
That's incredible.
But I have thought about doing presentations by Zoom. Carol, that's worth passing on to our dictionary chairperson, because that might be a possibility that we hadn't thought of.
Yeah,
I mean,
think that.
it's as imperfect. It's not as much fun as handing the book to the kids, because I love when we call. We had 100 kids in one classroom, called them up, applaud each of them, handed them their book. Many of my club members are sign language interpreters, and the books include the American Sign Language at the end. So the kids opened to the back of it, and then, they did a sign, sentence with the kids, and the kids were, spelling it out in their hands. And it was so enriching. And it was, it brought me to tears, every year that we did the donation at the local school. And then we went to the deaf school to deliver the deaf, the ASL dictionaries. More meaningful, because I've never been as immersively in a when I was the outsider in the language culture. When I was surrounded by a bunch of people who were speaking a language they didn't speak and being interpreted to, by one of our club members, I was reduced to tears. I couldn't believe how removed I was from the experience of those deaf kids. But the fact that they recognized that we had a sign language interpreter and who pointed that out and coached them to that area of the dictionary was so meaningful to those kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's
mind-blowing.
That's super. Yeah, that is great, and that just kind of goes to the point, like Gail was making. This thing isn't going to go away. We have to figure out a way to adapt and keep going and serving our public. So I want to turn it over to Naomi for a second, just so she can show us the service activity tab that some of you guys may or may not know about. Go ahead, Naomi. Oh, you're on mute. Sorry.
And Rotary wants to know what that impact is that Kelly's talking about. And so there is a way for Rotary to know as a total what the clubs are doing. But first, Kelly was talking about the magazine. This is where you can get that digital magazine. News and media, go to magazine, and you get the Rotary magazine right here, okay? But I want to go to Rotary Club Central. So Rotary Club Central, Rotary Club Central has a tab for service projects. And so that form that you are filling out for your service projects, if you could please give it to your secretary or president so they can input it into Rotary Club Central so that we can accumulate those numbers for our district and for Rotary International. Okay, so let me show you where it is. We're going to Rotary Club Central. You need to sign in. Okay, and right here are service activities. When you put in your service activities, you put in your project, you put in your volunteer hours or dollars, you check it as achieved when you finish it. And you know what? All of those numbers that you put in go to the dashboard. So when you click on this dashboard, it tells you what the district did. Okay, so this is District 5000. These are all of the projects that we did. The total volunteer hours, 11,000 volunteer hours last year. Okay, the funding that we did, and we had 300, a little over 300 projects that were entered into Rotary Club Central. This is our district numbers. It accumulates when you put it into Rotary Club Central. Okay, when you go to our zone, it accumulates for the zone. And then when you go for global, This is what Rotary wants. They want to see the global numbers. So it's really important for your clubs to put in that information on your service activities into Rotary Club Central. Okay, so this is the world, the international, the whole international number of hours for last year, 34 million volunteer hours, dollars, and the funding. Okay, so put it in here and put it also, if you have a really good project, put it into the Rotary Showcase as well. Okay, so these are numbers that you can show your club on how your club did, how the district did, how the Rotary International did. Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Say, we're just at 8 o'clock, gang. Appreciate your spending an hour of your time on Monday. These are things and really important information. Please take them back to your club. Remember, our goal is to try to filter it down to every person, every Rotarian, and every club in our district. So thanks a lot for sharing an hour with us. We'll see you guys again next month. Feel free to engage us, ask any questions, do whatever you guys are doing out there, but appreciate your time and help today. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.